All right, we start recording. Okay, welcome everybody to the second module of our fashion house business classes. And today we're gonna dig into a deeper structure of figuring out how to do your business. And we're gonna do based on fashion, but that will apply to any business that you have. I know Samantha is in business of she's a florist and she does a little bit jewelry, but no matter what it is, even if it's your business of filmmaking, there will be certain categories that you will have to analyze your own business as you go before you start. So last week we dig into our personalities and what do we care about and starting business from within. So hopefully you guys done that work and we can move on with the what, who, and why. And I'm gonna share my screen with you right now. And we're gonna do this, okay. Share, all right, let me go to the view and do this full screen. All right. So we're gonna do, you guys can see it, right? No problem. Can you see the module 2? Everybody's good? Okay. All right. So today we're gonna do what, who, and why. And oh, sorry, my camera went down. So for this part, we can start either way. We can start from why, from your purpose. We can start from audience that you wanna address to, or we can start from what. And I know in fashion, most of the startup starts with what they want to make and what they want to sell and whatnot. So we're going to start traditionally from what. And on the screen, I have a couple different division of businesses. So we have bridal at top. We have lingerie by Rihanna. We have haute couture runway represented by Versace. We have a ultimate urban line by Kanye West, and we have some sportswear. I think it's a Lang. So what you do with fashion, with what, is not only it will be defined by your group. It will be defined also by who. So if you know you want a bridal, then you got to decide, is it a bridal that it's 19 years old student, how much money she has, where she is educated, and what she can afford. So I'm going to jump a little bit. I'm going to be jumping in between. The second one, you're going to do your who. Who is your client? Who is your target group? And that's a typical marketing that you do for any business plan. When you create your business plan, you gotta have this separated, the target group and your core group. You're gonna have your core group, the hardcore that it's always with you. Let's say for in film, I always watch anything that is done by Woody Allen or by Spielberg, or I search my movies by directors. I know if I have Tarkovsky, I know I'm gonna like it one way or another, or I will search by actor. So that's partially how I will look for what I wanna do. And the same is here. You're gonna search who is your core group. And then you're gonna have some people who will come and go. So that's gonna be your secondary group, target group. But your main group, sex, so gender, really. Is it a line for males or females, right? So we have one. So when you go to where you go, so either you do both or you one of those. Usually startups it's good to start with one gender and then expand when you make money as a big plan. So for the first 5 years, it's good to stick with one gender. If it's a gender fluid, that's your gender. That's gonna be both genders, but it's gender fluid. So let's say certain guys who are more comfortable with themselves are gonna go for it because it's gonna have some feminine elements to it, or it's gonna be more out there. And certain more masculine women will go through it. So in these days, we can categorize this as a third gender. So let's say we have male, female, and gender fluid. And do not mistake gender fluid for unisex, because unisex is just fast fashion nonsense for kind of like a one size fits all, which is not true. There's not such thing as one size fits all. So we got to remember that. One size fits all means it's not going to fit you, or unless it's a duster or kaftan. So the next one, when you pick your gender, let's say we're picking, I don't know, you want a male? We can do males. And we're going to go to age. What's the age group? The age groups could be junior, but you got to remember that we start with kids. So you have newborns, and those are categorized also by gender, because you have blue and dark greens and dark blues, and navies are usually assigned to boys. And then you have pinks and, you know, frilly stuff assigned for girls. So you have age as well. So you have newborns, then you start kids that are 1 to 3, then you have 5 to 7, and then you start the teenagers. So the early junior and then the older junior, then you start young women, which will be probably 20 to 25, because after college, you're gonna have a different group with different earnings. And that group usually spends more and has more and more disposable income. So you gotta know who you're selling to. It can't be everything for everybody. It's not such thing. Unless you're making plain white t-shirt, then it's everything for everybody. And you don't know how to choose your marketing strategy, because that's not a core product. Unless your plain white t-shirt could be sold, let's say, in no GMO organic cotton from India, then you run on your mission, not on a gender. That makes sense so far? Okay, cool. So we have a sex, we have age, now we have education level. So each consumers usually, education and earnings are gonna be kind of going head and head. And I don't have a race here, but I think in America could be also include race, if you will. But I don't know if there is any studies on it, how the Black families versus Asian versus white families or Latino families, how they shop. And unless they are juniors, race doesn't matter that much. It matters most when you go into older, especially women or men, because the body shape is different. So you're gonna have a different fit if you have a race. Because you know, Asian fit is not gonna fit an Afro-American body. It's just completely different build, muscle-wise. Let's say the same person who is Asian build size 0 and Black woman size 0 will be completely different shape for women. For men as well, because they have less buttocks muscles. I mean, I'm generalizing right now because we're not making custom made clothing here. We are making something that's gonna be open to masses. And as genius as people try to make the fit when they compromising between the, you know, Asian kind of flatter and more boyish elongated look and more shapely either Eastern European or Afro-American woman, because Eastern European body shape, it's kind of like Kardashian. So you have that look when you have a, of course, we don't pay for it. When you have, you know, size D cup is very common. When American average size cup is B, Eastern Europeans is C and D. That's kind of a standard for that region. But let's say you guys gonna sell in America. And I know I have clients from Ghana and Ethiopia, and we're gonna address this differently because the body shape is completely different. But let's stick to American, and Echo and Jaden is in China, so they will have different shapes as well. But that's what you work on your fit. That's gonna be part of your what, the fit. So fit will depend on your age, because that especially with women, men not as much and not as fast, but women, the older we get, everything, you know, gravity sets in and we kind of grow in certain areas. It's just part of our nature, especially when we have kids and we go through hormone stuff. We get, you know, fuller waist, and you know, your apex of the chest will drop a little bit, and that comes with each age. You have to redefine your product, not only what you're gonna sell, but how it's gonna fit. So big part of what you're gonna sell will be how is this gonna fit. And with education and earnings, you're gonna have a threshold of money that people wanna spend. Because if they make more money, they usually spend more, and they're gonna more invest in luxury or semi-luxury called bridge. So we have the fast fashion, we have the mass market of what used to be called Macy, which is fast fashion for older women, basically called Macy. And then you have a bridge. Bridge companies are like, let's say D&G or DKNY is a bridge company. It's like semi-luxurious. You still get like the better goods, but for, let's say, between $400 to $800. That's your price range. For fast fashion, your price range is between $20 to, let's say, $80 to $120, maybe maximum for the jacket. But bridge is kind of step above it. And then you go into luxury, and there is luxury with a huge name behind it and luxury without the name. So luxury without the name, or the name is not as well known, let's say Michael Kors, although he's well known here, he is finally recognized in Asia. But for the longest time, he was not, we didn't know he existed in Europe. So his prices were like $2,500 to like $3,500. You know, the more you're recognizable, Versace starts at $4,000, Dior, Valentino, the true, we used to call them a fashion dictators back in 80s. There is not such thing anymore because influencer dictates. So who dictates what's what, but then you get the quality. So your fabric is gonna be different. Your construction inside the garment is gonna be different, because you're gonna transition from mass media, the mass market. You have overlocks, you have more messy and like really fast stitch, a lot of top stitching. There's not gonna be facings with stay stitches and hand attached to your lining. That's what you're gonna get with your price point. So you can improve the construction inside, the amount of fittings. Like the jacket that I'm wearing right now, it's not only fully lined, it's fully tailored, and it's supported inside with, there's tons of layers inside here, but that costs money to build it. So it sits, and I can move, I can do jumping jacks. Nobody's gonna do that amount of details for fit or construction inside for mass market. It's just not cost productive. And people want to have margins at least 2.2. So let's say your cost for the garment is $60, then you do 2.2, and that's gonna be your price for your retail. But you gotta think about it, that you have your price point, then you have your wholesale, that's 2.2, and then you have your retail. So let's say we did at Monique Lhuillier, the bridal dresses starts around $4,000. Those are the cheaper ones. But the more luxurious one starts from $8,000 to $25,000 a dress. So how does she price $8,000? So the cost, you can strip it backwards. So if you know, let's say Bertha Goodman will sell that dress for $80,500. You can divide that approximately by half, and you're gonna get the wholesale price. That's gonna be $4,000. That means to make that dress, the cost to make that dress is $2,000. You see the difference? And in that $2,000 is your workmanship, because each dress is about from 80 to 150 hours of workmanship and hand stitching. She's gonna use fabric that is $100 a yard. She's gonna use the trims that gonna be stable. So now if we go to Forever 21 and your skirt is $21, short mini skirt, fluffy, you know, polyester, now $21 is your retail. You cut that in half, you're gonna get the wholesale, which is $10. So cost of making that garment is $5. How does she get that? She gets that if she orders couple million or 100,000 skirts. And you move that to Bangladesh, you pay people pennies. It takes 15 minutes to make that dress. It's a fast overlock. There is no quality control. Fabric costs about 10 cents a yard. It's all poisonous and stabilized and just, you know, it will fall apart after 5 wears because fast fashion is designed to last about 5 wears and people throw that to trash. And that's what people do. And that's why we're drowning in the fashion waste out there. Is that making sense so far? Cool, okay. Now, do you guys know the difference between overlock and French seam and lining? Sarah, you're making dresses. Do you know the difference?
I don't personally.
Okay, all right. After the class, I'm gonna prepare some stitching pictures, like a tutorial, so you can see what's what. Like all of you can know because you guys shopping all the time. If you, I don't know what you're wearing, but you know, fully lined is like my jacket. It's fully lined, right? You see the silk lining and it's all clean. You don't see any stitches. If you turn your t-shirt inside out, I guarantee you're gonna have overlock in there. It's kind of like a zigzag locking stitch. So anything, although I'm showing you now the urban line by Kanye West, and I know he's like $200 to $400, and a lot of that is it is in quality, that one thing, but another thing is in his name and branding, because he's so popular he can charge that much. And he competes mostly with D Square and Zadig Voltaire and the higher end of the urban wear. But nevertheless, his fabric might be better, but his construction is the same as this. Let's concentrate on this hoodie, as the hoodie from Trevel, who is one of our students, and I mentor him. We just made a hoodie for him. You can see on my YouTube channel as well to watch the pattern making for that particular hoodie. It's exactly the same construction. It's just different fabric and different brand awareness and different branding. So what do you have in that hoodie? You have overlock inside and all the joint seams when the ribs, this is called rib at the hem, and that joint stitch, because you have a top stitch and it has to lock on the other side, is a double needle cover stitch. So it's very messy on the inside, but that's what you do for knits, mostly. So that's why the price point for Kanye West cannot be $2,000, because he's just doing, you know, fast fashion in better quality. That's why it's like between $200 to $400. But as you know, if you put some spectacular graphic on it or some kind of treatment that some artist does, and it's a limited edition, people can charge $450 for t-shirts. But that you have to know you have that client, because making art and keep it in a closet and no one's wearing, it's a tragedy and it's a waste of money. So in a startup, it's very good to start safe, not what you want to do. I want to sell $10,000 dresses, but I don't have a name recognition. So the most I can charge is about $2,500 to $3,000 for a dress, if someone is willing to pay and can appreciate the workmanship. And I do a lot of hand stitch patches. So the difference between my bridal and, let's say, Monique Lullier bridal, the difference, we can make the same dress and she can charge $8,000 and I can charge about $2,000 to $3,000 because I don't have a brand recognition. So you got to be aware of that, because that's part of business planning and marketing. So Next, so we understand the education and earnings, right? If people have lower education and they have lower, let's say you're a trash can guy, lovely guy, but he's probably, I don't know his education, but most people, I know there will be some eccentric who will have PhD and wants to be a trash can guy. I'm sure it happens, but it's not what happens normally. People who are in those lower paying jobs are usually have lower education, or or are immigrants, or didn't have opportunity to go and study. Because I've been working with people who had they even had scholarships to Princeton, but their mother wouldn't let them go because it was 1960s, and good girls didn't go to universities outside of the house, so she had to stay home, and now she is a lower pay worker because she doesn't have that education. So some people have no opportunities to do so, but education and earnings usually go together. Now, location. People in big cities tend to spend more and tend to make more. So if you have farmers somewhere in the middle of Kentucky, they're gonna do some online shopping or old days catalog shopping, but just think what they're gonna buy. Are they gonna buy couture just to schlep themselves around their fields with the pigs and cows and corn? Probably not, unless it's a wedding or something. So location dictates your lifestyle, and lifestyle dictates what you wear, where you purchase, and what you do. So you are basically in big cities, you're more exposed to stuff. You have more opportunities to buy, to invest, to go to museum, to restaurant. Is a completely different lifestyle. I can't imagine people in the middle of nowhere going Friday nights to have a family dinner unless they go to a diner that it's down the road or some kind of pub that they have. I can't imagine having like a Michelin star, on the road between Chicago and I don't know, Wisconsin. So you got to be aware of that, where you're gonna sell, because right now you can sell e-commerce and you can go to middle of nowhere. Like some of my clients in Nigeria, they say they still don't have electricity. They have those generators to watch TV and stuff. And they still have some places still don't have a Wi-Fi or just got the Wi-Fi last year. So you got to be aware of that, because if you're e-commerce, you can basically, you're a global village, so you can sell to anyone, anywhere. But there will be language barrier, there will be, how often they're purchased, how much disposable income they have. Then you have a rates as well of exchange, because what's cheap to us, it's super expensive in China. Every time I do fabric shopping or I do something with my assistants in China, they always, oh my God, it's so expensive. You know what I mean? And I know it's not, because if I pay for a yard of silk $20 and it's 40 mami, that's a very heavy silk, $20. Most people will think that's super expensive because it translates into 120 yen. So if people tell you it's 120 yen, think in your head that emotionally is like spending $120. That's usually what helps me when I travel. So I'm very careful to say, oh, this is so cheap, it's nothing. And I know people who shop with me, they don't feel comfortable, because then I sound like a rich bitch who is inconsiderate of others. That's another story. But just, you gotta think about it, because Americans are very privileged, Americans and Brits, because their exchange rate is higher than everybody else's out there. The pound is even higher than $1. But if you have 6 or 7 yen per dollar and your emotional spending is 120 yen, means like $120, then it's a huge difference. These people maybe will buy from you, but they will buy maybe once a year or twice a year. They're not gonna buy every month. So that's location, and location dictates the lifestyle, what they do. So imagine your client where they go, what they do. You know, like, let's say you guys are young people. Definitely your Sebastian, let's say, Sebastian lifestyle is going to be different than mine. Because I am a woman, middle age, I have disposable income, and I probably have different expectations and different needs and different interests than a young person who will go for a jazz concert, have some fun on the beach, or, you know, it's just different. So if you spend time on the beach, you're probably not going to wear couture unless you're crazy, just like me, you know, gardening in my couture. But every aspect of this marketing has to be taken to account to count. And now the last but not least, and maybe most importantly, you gotta do your diligent research. Who is your competition? So, because competition can kill you, or you can learn from their mistakes. So study competition, everybody does, and it's very important. Competitors, it will show you, especially you can study their top sellers, you can study their fit, you can study their pricing, you can study their new lines and colorations. Everybody's watching everybody constantly, and that will dictate who you sell, what to sell, on what calendar, because we have deliveries. Like in the movies, I don't know, the movie have deliveries, like certain season when you launch the movies? Sebastian?
Certain seasons where you like release different types of seasons for a show, for instance, or?
Yeah, like when you
Yeah.
launch, let's say, is there a season when you launch family movies? Is there a season when you launch?
Yeah, around Christmas, and then horror movies would be, you know, in October, your Halloween.
Okay.
Yeah, but definitely seasons.
Okay,
Blockbusters
so
in the summer, yes.
Yeah, so it's the same here. We have basic 4 seasons for fashion, which is your fall and holiday, which is right now, and that's the most active, the most spending comes in fall and holiday. Then you have spring, when people almost don't buy anything, but you need that little transition. And usually in spring, people will do like the, what you call it, the cruise. It used to be called cruise. So when people go, or Hamptons, or now it's going to be called yachting or whatever. So there is a certain group of clientele that goes and has that disposable income, that it will go, let's say it's a snow and we're selling, you know, fur coats and boots and stuff. But then you may need a line of swimsuits in January, because these people have money and they go where it's hot, and they have their, you know, cruising and yachting and God knows what. So by the same token, you're gonna have a season when you address Aspen and ski season. Depends what your group is. If this is part of your group lifestyle, that's what you're gonna do. So after spring, you have summer. And summer is really big, really big. It doesn't sell as much. It's like a regular season. Spring is like the skinniest, like the skeleton, like the, you know, starving cow in everything. Fall is huge, and holiday is the biggest. So you have 4. Now, if you fast fashion, you deliver every 2 weeks, and you don't have really seasons. You're just producing and recycling, and you have 2 things non-stop. You're feeding and overfeeding your clientele, because they spend $5 to $20, so they don't care, and they throw away, and they just, you know, it's a disposable fashion. When you do a regular fashion, fall will have categories. So then when it comes to what, you're gonna have a category of outerwear. Then you're gonna do your merchandising, basically, if you think of what, because even if you want to do bridal, and let's say you want to do just dresses, bridal comes also with accessories. You sell veils, you sell tiaras, you sell shoes, clutches, you know, for the little handkerchief or lipstick. You can go and get your, you know, cover-ups. and you can get your rehearsal dinner dresses. It's not only bridal. Bridal is like a whole, like a lifestyle of those 3 days or 2 weeks or whatever people do of that, like an event. So you get the whole package. And if you go, you don't just get the bridal dress and then you leave. You can accessorize everything, and that's what makes money, because everything adds up. So if you do, let's say fall, right? You're gonna do outerwear category, you're gonna do dresses, you're gonna do bottoms, and you're gonna do tops. And now outerwear, you can have parkas, you can have fur coats, you can have those puff jackets, kind of like a skin jackets. You can have cashmere coats, so you can have from casual to more luxurious. Now, if we're gonna go to dresses, you're gonna have mini dresses, maxi dresses, and everything in between. You're gonna have more long sleeves, there's short sleeves, but you're gonna get your party dresses as well. So there will be subcategories, depends how you merchandise your group and what their lifestyle is. So you're gonna have from office to clubbing. If your group is, let's say, young women 25 to 39, they're gonna go clubbing, or, you know, cocktail. And those cocktails, usually you go from work, especially in New York. And a lot of young people do. They, even my age, we go for a drink after work. And, you know, you want to be kind of casual, then kind of throw something on, and then you are more fancy. So those are the transitional pieces. And then you're gonna have staples, you're gonna have bottoms. And for bottoms, you're gonna have pants and skirts. Skirts are usually very hard to sell, extremely hard, but it's good to have one or two. And bottoms, you can have denim, you can have khakis, you can have chinos, you can have wool, you can have fully lined slacks, and you can have yoga pants. Those are bottoms as well. So it depends where you at. These are your categories. And the price point will go with the group and where it sits. Now for tops, you will have button-ups. You can have t-shirts. You can have t-shirts with, you know, you can have jumpers, which is called, I think, sweatshirts in America, right? Sweatshirts? Am I right? Okay, sweatshirts. In England, they call it jumper. And so it's like from leisure to luxury. But if you do leisure, for people like me, I rather have cashmere and something more sophisticated than just simple, you know, Gap sweatshirt. So it depends what it is and where you're at. But competition will show you. So you can study your competition before you start your own line and see what their top sellers are, how they merchandise it, and how they merchandise not only per category, but merchandise per fit, because you can sell it in numeric fit, which is from 0 to 24 if you include your plus sizes. And that's usually, if you're higher end, it will go 1 inch apart, your sizing, or you're gonna do the bucket sizing, which is called alpha, which you have extra small, small, medium, large. And those are buckets, because extra small will have between size 0 to size 2. Small will have 4 to 6. Medium will be your 8, 10, and then large is your 12, 14, mix as such. So that's how you merchandise. And you know, stretchy fabric can go in alpha. If you have rigid garments, unless it's slightly oversized, you cannot do in alpha. There's no way I can sell this fitted blazer as size small, because this is strictly size 6. And that's not gonna, I mean, it's gonna look completely different and unproportionate, especially in the waist area, for size 2 and in a chest. So it's not gonna look good. Unless I design it as oversized, a little bit boxy, then I can, you know, you can shop. And as women, we know what we want, because there is a real fit on your body and there is your preference. So my real body size is size 4, but I do not like tight fittings. Unless I'm wearing a bodycon dress or like a corset, I do not like things to be tight on me. and I wear size 8. And although naturally I'm size 27 in jeans, I tend to buy size 30 because I hate the, you know, the tightness around the crotch. So, you know, we have our preference and we have our real fit. And that's gonna kind of shape as you go with your clientele, and you're gonna have your customer service. And customer service, you're gonna collect your feedback from people. The same when you make movie. Let's say, Sebastian, your movie, the what was it called? The movie that you won.
Nocturne.
Yeah. So what was the audience for it? Was it children?
Absolutely not. No, I'd say 18 and up.
Okay, so it's 18 and up for sure. Is it more educated person? Do you think person who is just, I don't know.
People who like jazz will definitely enjoy it more, I'd say.
There you go. But can you see like a, you know, Midwest, I don't want to say white trash, but like people who like watch sports and, you know, do fried chicken and go shooting ducks on the weekend, would they sit and enjoy that movie?
I'd like to think so, but
Okay,
in
cool.
reality, probably not.
Yeah, so you know, so you may have some clients there. That would be your secondary client target. That you know, when you get lucky. But your core target will be more educated, probably more sophisticated, just loving people who you can appreciate the artistry of that. So that's gonna be the same for anything else, guys. Got it? Make sense? Any questions so far? Cool, Samantha, I'm glad. Okay, so we have the competition is really easy, and study competition because that's the cheapest way to do your research. If I am competing with Gap, I'm gonna go to Gap and check and talk to salespeople and check their, you know, what they're selling online, and study for 2-3 months to see their older stuff, the newer stuff, whatever it is. You constantly follow your competition. And it's not written in a stone. If your competitor is Gap today, it might be Banana Republic tomorrow. You know what I mean? It just where your client will shift and it will take you. So those little shifts will happen. But like we said last week, let's stick to your clientele and to your core for at least 5 years to give them a chance to grow. But that decision has to come from within. What you feel and what you know has to manifest. Otherwise, you're gonna lose it. It's just like my previous employee who started as, you know, high-end bridge, trying to compete with Stella McCartney, but within 2 years, he told us we're gonna compete with Forever 21. It's like black and white. It's not even close enough to do like a slight transition and still be okay. So there's a lot of logistic behind that we discussed last week. And now my favorite part of your business planning is your why. It's your purpose. It's what drives you. So I truly believe, especially nowadays for Generation Z, I think millennials, especially the younger group of millennials, they really want to know behind the scenes. My generation, we just shop because we, you know, Vogue told us it was cool and we wanted to be cool and we just want to shop. Oh, this is new, that's new, and this is in and this is not in. And that's kind of like this trend rat face that I absolutely cannot stand. Now you're gonna study why, because the why will tell you either it's sustainability, either is, I don't know, because you want to have healthy, non-GMO organic cotton, let's say. That's going to be more expensive. You're going to get less product. GMO cotton is better quality, it's faster, it grows a lot of it, you don't have any waste. But then, not only you get poison wearing it, but farmers who grow that GMO cotton are dying. An entire India industry dropped the GMO brought from, it's forbidden now. They want to go back to their old-fashioned organic cotton because of that, because it's very poisonous. So not everything that is supported or created by science is going to be good for you or for the climate or for the earth or whatever your why is. Let's say, Sarah, do you know what will be your why for your dresses?
Yeah, so I have scrap fabric that I kind of get like on the remains from like rag finders. And so I just wanted to like kind of voice that it's like repurposed, remade from remains, and just like slow fashion, not, yeah.
Yes, because yeah, your dresses are built up. They have a lot of layers. There is a lot of going on there. So they definitely slow fashion. And repurposing is part of the sustainability movement. So using what was already done, recycling. Now you can build on that and do, let's say, it's only made to order. I'm not gonna make it and send it to warehouses to sit and pray someone will buy it. I'm gonna only make it when people actually place the order. That will be another one, right? You can, let's say, all my workers are in US. That could be a purpose. I'm gonna have only made in US. Or if you still choose to make, let's say, in China, Bangladesh, whatever, I'm gonna pay the workers a Western wages, or like, you know, double the wages that normally are there. So there's always a story you can build behind. And you can also check how you treat your garments, because let's say denim is one of the biggest polluting divisions out there in universe, because we use toxic indigo to tie-dye denim that pollutes insanely. The people who do that, people usually have to retire within like 45 years. I can send you some, I wrote this blog about polluting, and there is a picture from China factory, denim factory, when they're doing this massive indigo dye, and it's not from natural indigo from Japan. It's not plant indigo. It's a chemical indigo, which stays, it's fast, but it's extremely toxic for people. So you have, depends of your color that you're gonna use, depends of dyes you're gonna use. You can use just organic dyes, let's say plant-based only. Then your colors are not gonna be as vivid, and it's gonna be more expensive, but it's gonna be safe for environment, and you're gonna build a legacy for your future generations. So there is a story behind it to tell as well. And then you have stone wash, you have enzyme wash, you have acid wash. All these toxins are dumped into rivers, into our water, into our planet. And we produce millions, if not billions, I will have to check, pairs of jeans yearly. And there is not even need for it. A lot of it sits in warehouses, and maybe half of it is salt, the rest is shredded into pieces. So another thing to deal with that, because there is a lot of like this modern houses that are built like kind of like Lego, prefabricated houses that as an insulation, they use shredded denim. So let's say you run the denim, your waste of denim, you can donate or repurpose as such. Or you can make pillows, curtains from old denim. Levi's is repurposed completely, because the prices of 501 are the same when they new or old, or sometimes the old and really worn out are even more expensive. So look at Ralph Lauren. He has a whole branding when he's reselling only vintage clothing. And what vintage means used. It's just a nicer word for used. The same antique is a better word for, like, you know, this couch belonged to someone else, but now I'm using. So there's story to tell. and the story and your why, the more genuine it is and the more bold it is, the better. Because the more you are true to yourself, you're not trying to be fake or trying hard, you will never slip, and you're gonna work tirelessly to get your goals. So whatever sits with you properly, not everything is for everybody, and you gotta compromise, because not everything can be done 100% organic yet. We are not there yet, and people are not ready to pay those prices yet. And the only company known to me that releases the more clean water than it takes from the river Ran is Gooderman. Gooderman is the best in the world thread company that was just purchased by the American A&E. So soon enough it's gonna be equal. But what they did with the water and repurpose the coloring and whatnot, that they release filtered water to the Ran. Ran is the, I don't know if Americans, are you call it the Ran, the river Ran in Germany? It's like a major river. Anyway, whatever it's however it's pronounced in English. So, so that's part of your why. And I personally, in these days, I would start with my why and go with what and for whom, or even why, for whom I want to deal with, who I want to cater to, who I can speak to, who I think I can catch attention from, and then discover what the lifestyle of this group is and what they want to do, what they want to wear. This is, we're talking just when you make products or when you supply services. When you make movies, you are on the artistic level. You kind of, you know, unless you do something for television, then I don't think people think in those very business categories. I'm not sure.
They do, for sure.
They do? Okay.
Yeah.
So those business categories, and I know I worked in television for 5 years, and we had ratings, and ratings were everything. So sometimes we had to ratings in radio, and I work in like this Radiowa Trójka, which is how would you say? It's like one of the coolest radios that was out there during the communism, and they were very independent and like, you know, really out there. Kind of what I'm looking for the word. Like you have those movies, like Big Lebowski is what? Let's say those
Counterculture.
Yes. So you have that kind of culture, and then we got in late 1980s, we start getting the advertisers. So they will pay for the programs because government couldn't subsidize as much. So we get advertisers, and now every journalist out there, oh my God, I'm talking about, you know, Sade or this I don't know, concert with Pavarotti. Why do I have to say thank you to Colgate and toothbrushes for supporting us? They didn't want to do it, you know, when it makes the diapers, toothbrushes, and soaps. But the fact is, they're gonna advertise and support you. So that will generate your ratings, and you will have to adjust your subjects or formats to whatever is generated to generate the ratings when we talk about media, at least. In fashion, you're gonna have those ratings in your sales. So you're gonna see what sells, what doesn't sell, and if people share on social media, go and buy it, I love this, blah, blah, blah. That's how you check. You don't have a gross rating points. With media, it's easier because you get like a weekly, even daily gross rating points, and you know what sells, what doesn't. That's why we have so many tabloids and scandals, because we are so noisy, and that's what generates the gross rating point, GPR, who is watching you. And that's how you build your advertising and your self-funding from behind. Unless you're gonna have non-profit and you're just gonna ask people to donate, and then you use that as a budget, and then you do your, you know, free range, you know, artsy movie, and that's it. But that's usually, it will be hard to generate, you know, 120 million, let's say, if you want a proper movie. You know, everything has to have a backing for it, and that movie has to make that money back at least, right? Or at least double it to make some profit.
Yeah, it's all about return on investment.
Yeah, and what is the expectation return on investment for the movies?
At least to cover the costs of making the film, but ideally it would be double the budget.
Double. Okay, so in fashion is 2.2, so it's double as well, plus a little bit. In jewelry, it's more, because jewelry you don't buy seasonally. You buy jewelry occasionally, and especially if you invest. So in jewelry, it could be up to 10 times. So let's say your cost is $200, but you sell for 2,000 because you know they're gonna buy only once or something. And of course, it generates a little bit differently for everybody, because if you have a name, let's say Tiffany can charge more because they have that emotional level. Like most women in America wants the Tiffany engagement ring because it's somehow tribal conditioning in this country. Like when I went for my engagement ring, I went to downtown LA. It's like whatever looked nice. I couldn't care less. It was Tiffany or Schmiffany or whatever the hell it was. But a lot of women want that cute box. And that's a good thing to study. What is it? Why women are so attached to the box that they just open and throw away or keep in a drawer forever? I just don't understand that. But I'm not the typical shopper. But if you have a typical shopper with story that they are emotionally attached to it, these people will come back to you. They will come back to you. So I don't know where we at with our time. Anybody knows what time is it? Yeah, so this is it for today. The next module 3, we're gonna talk about structure in your company. What do you need now, and what you will need when you grow, and eventually how to grow your company and roles in your company to be most cost effective and to be the most dynamic. So any questions for today, guys? Can everybody unmute themselves? Can I unmute anybody? Okay, can you guys do it yourself, because I'm a little bit off the grid here. Okay. All right. So any questions? Any comments? Sebastian?
That was really good.
Who's speaking?
Samantha.
Oh, cool. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. You like it. Yeah.
I learned a lot.
Awesome. I'm really happy. So like I say, every week it's a homework. I'm not checking your homework. You can send it to me at justina@justinasmart.com, and I can help you with those business plans, because you guys my first cycle, so I want to honor you guys. I'm not going to do that going forward with my classes. But if you want me to check your self-description of yourself from the first class, and from today, you're kind of, at least, it doesn't have to be super detailed, but at least like a raw kind of your stepping stones, your blocks for your business. I encourage you guys to do it and send it to me, and I can help you with that. And then next week, we're gonna go deep into company structure. So today was more of a business planning, and business planning is important because that's what you need when you go to the bank and ask them for funding, just so you know. Or you wanna pitch to somebody that you wanna cooperate with or partner with. So that is very important. There is no escaping that. And people pay $50,000 for a marketing specialist to do that for them. You can do it yourself. And as a startup, you can get away with that. You start making money, then you can hire people to do that for you. Cool?
Cool. Yeah, I don't have any questions, but I thought it was really helpful, and not just for the fashion industry, but also applies to other businesses in terms of
Yes. Yes.
building your product, defining your consumer base and whatnot. So
Yes, yes, for any product. And you would be surprised, there is nothing out there, no matter what you do. You're selling the plants. It's Samantha can tell us, because that's a very competitive business. It's not just go and buying plants. It's where you sell it, how it's accessible. Home Depot can charge double the price because it's convenient for people, and they have brand recognition. And in order to compete with Home Depot as a little entrepreneur, you got to either compete with quality or pricing or whatever it is. The most you always can compete with services. That's gonna be the cheapest for you. Services, what you give to people without investing money, just using your brain. So think about that, because that's a really good tool that it's just on the go. And little things with people, little kindnesses go very long way. You would be surprised. Very long way. So I encourage you, check my website and check the business to business, because there's a lot of explanation of my vision, and you can just copy that. You can get inspired, because my vision and my why is mindful kindness. And I truly believe mindful kindness is not just like a fanaberia or like caprice. Okay, I woke up today and I feel like it, but I'm not really into it, I'm just trying to trick everybody so they can buy more. No, it's something that I do, and I love helping people. I love working with people, and I truly believe that mindful kindness is a good business. It's not just good for the business, but it is good business. And how you treat people in your company, it will reflect on you in the long run. So you can, like I said last week, you can yell and scream and be a bitch on steroids, and that's gonna work really fast, but that has very short legs. So you gotta choose. Either you're gonna have revolving door like BCBG had it. They were constantly firing and hiring non-stop, the same position for years and years and years. That's a business model too. Or you're gonna build your legacy and have people that work for you for 20 years and you can trust them with your life. And I think it's less stressful, and you can relax, and it makes you a better person in overall, when you build almost a family, because we spend 12 to 16 hours at work. Don't you want to have some connection with people? I mean, like the motto of Luba from BCBG, Luba Azria, was eat or be eaten. Who does that? You have to be like a psychopath on steroids to do that. Eat or be eaten. Who has a motto in life like this?
Or a capitalist.
Yeah, there you go. So she was eat everybody and their mother, steal it ideas from everybody, and look where she's at. She's wealthy, yes, but she doesn't have her company anymore. And when they sold it, they were bankrupt to the point of no return. They're barely making anything these days. And 10 years ago, they were huge. 20 years ago, when Halle Berry wore their dress to Oscars, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And they didn't know how to build on that. So it's a different generation, different times. Anyway, I have to stop talking because I always talk a lot. So yeah.
I'm sorry, I had a question.
Yes,
so,
yes.
For example, a website like Alibaba.
Uh-huh.
How do I know if my supplier is legit? And why is it that when I ask for shipping prices, they have some are more cheaper and some are expensive, but they're all based in China? How does that happen?
Okay, so Alibaba, it's Amazon on steroids. Just keep in mind, you are dealing with a completely different culture that has completely different values. And you're dealing with people who've been so brainwashed by communism that they don't have higher values, ethical values. ethics is not important to them. What's important to Chinese people is making money. And they can just give you money, whatever, because they don't have regulations for that either. So they have no regulations for toxicity. They have no regulations for quality. They have no regulations for shipping. You can order one thing and they deliver something else and there will be no return. So be careful when you deal with China, especially Alibaba, because it's a lower, if you buy from Chinese vendor, you are much safer to buy on eBay because eBay will regulate that and they will guarantee the return. Or Etsy. eBay is very, very safe if you buy from Chinese vendor. If you buy on Alibaba, there is no, unless you know somebody and you can grow through the agency that will provide that backing for you, there is no guarantee you're gonna get what you get because there's no regulations in that matter. So it's kind of your risk. Is it worth the risk to get those beads or this string or this chain or whatnot? Because you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what are you buying on Alibaba, Samantha?
I'm trying to get accessories.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they have very competitive prices, but remember, they copy, so copyrights are not regulated either. So they copy Chloe, they copy Valentino, Gucci, whatever. You can get any of these for $5. But if you get the fragrance, you're not gonna get the fake fragrance. You will never, oh, we have a kitty visiting us. The fragrance, I know, I'm gonna say Jaden, who's gonna watch us later, he's gonna hate it, but I remember when he got Tom Ford on Alibaba, and oh my God, he put that on himself. I was like, it really smelled like 99 cents perfume, seriously. And it was supposed to be the Tom Ford perfume. So just be careful. There's no regulations, there's no returns, because you have to prove it. And there is no way to prove it.
I see.
Yeah, and
Thank
you don't speak the language. The minute you don't speak the language or you speak the Chinese with Taiwanese accent, they know they can cheat you. They know they can dictate higher prices. And you never know. It's really risky. It's even risky when I asked Echo, I was asking her to do some research on socks recently, and even she says they would not give her straight answer. So even the Chinese people within their Chinese, market, they get frustrated. Because you can have today price will be 35 yen, but tomorrow your call is 45. And you can tell them it was 35 and they will just ignore you. And you call day after, it's gonna be 25 yen. And you want your return because we have American standards. Nothing is regulated in China. Keep that in mind. That's it. So people, yeah.
So basically, when it comes to shipping, they just put their own prices on it.
They can, yeah, and they have very. They don't have just post office, UPS and DHL. They have private, sort of private shipping companies, and each company makes different prices. So you can get a different price for something that you ship overnight. You can get a different price that you ship on a boat that will come within 2-3 months. So the shipping, just ask for cheaper prices for the shipping, and you tell them you're not gonna pay the shipping, and that's it. Because depends what company they have. eBay doesn't do the upcharging. It used to be shipping and handling, now it's just shipping. So what China does, they upcharge and they make money on shipping as well, especially when they ship to Western world.
I see. Yeah, now it's more clear.
Yes, it's a challenge. It's a challenge all the time. You see, I ship from China all the time and we use the same company, and I usually have the same amount of stuff and I get different price every time. I stop worrying about it anymore, It will drive you crazy.
Yeah.
It will drive you crazy because today's $47 for the same package, tomorrow is $67, and you don't know. And the package that I thought is gonna go for 2 months came in 2 weeks, but the one that I ship overnight came after 6 weeks later. So there is no rules and regulations. Like I can tell you, Taiwan, Hong Kong, you will get rules and regulations because they were westernized parts of China. But the mainland China, it's just a roulette. That's what it is. And there is no way around it.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get a good price. So you gotta pick your battles. You gotta pick your poison.
Yes.
Yeah, if you really want it, you can take a risk, I shipped the tea I really wanted, and normally tea is forbidden to ship, but they didn't take it out from the box this time. So I was really lucky. You know what I mean? So you gotta take a risk if you want to. So that's what it is, yeah. Any other questions, guys?
I have another comment. Well, I just wanted to say thank you for the presentation. It's very helpful. And it's awesome that your business model can be applied to various businesses, not just a fashion, just like Sebastian said.
Yeah. No, thank you. And thank you guys for being here. Thank you for trusting me, and thank you for your time. And do your job, especially Sarah and Samantha, because you guys working on products. So do your little work, and I encourage you, use me, because we have one last class next week, and then, after, of course, we can stay in touch after that, but use me. I'm happy to help you guys, okay?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a startup.
I'm more than happy to help you, Angie, seriously. Yeah. Especially you've been really into organic stuff and whatnot. You can definitely find products out there.
For sure.
Yes, and you already started your little. What happened to the little placemats you had?
Yeah, they're still being made. I have a bunch of them, so.
You're just busy. That's what it is.
Yeah, I have been busy.
Why you need to sleep? You shouldn't be sleeping. Just go and do your little placemats.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for the wonderful Tuesday night. And I see you next Tuesday. Is 6 o'clock working for everybody? 6 in the evening?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I will schedule next class for 6 as well. And I'm going to send you this recording after.
Thank you.
Okay, because I'm going to stop recording. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night, Justina.
You
Take
too.
care.
Bye.